What a race it was. The women's Enduro came down to a sprint finish just a few moments ago between Cassandra Beaugrand and Katie Zafiris. We had to go to a photo finish, and it was Cassandra Beaugrand in the end who took the round, but Katie Zafiris took the Super League Triathlon Championship after 4 rounds. Consistency was her best friend. 71 points from 75 coming in. Win yesterday, second today, and she takes $100,000 US. We are in Singapore for the start of the men's Enduro. It's going to be a fantastic race. It really could go any way at all. My name is Will McCoy. Alongside me right now, Chris McCormack. But forget Chris McCormack because we have the champer in the house right here. It's been 10 minutes since the win. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel really good. I mean, this day was definitely, I think, the hardest of all the Super Leagues, and I'd never really felt good. So for it to come down to the finish, I'm really happy, even though, you know, I wanted that extra whatever inch, centimeter, millimeter. But I gave it everything I had.
Yeah, you take $100,000, you take the championship, you take the trophy, which is just down here. It's too heavy to even pick up. It's fantastic, though. And you wanted that extra inch. Come on.
But no, I mean, I'm really happy to have the series. It was all different types of racing, all different types of courses and formats, so to be able to be on the podium every single time, I'm really happy with it.
Macca, what did you think of all of that? We're going to see the finish again, I think, in just a second, but what a fantastic race that was when you came up with this format to make it finish like that. How good?
Oh, look, I couldn't have scripted anything better. I think I was really impressed with the Jersey event, but for me, the takeaway, Singapore has been the race of the entire series. The race yesterday with you and Cassandra going head-to-head and you squeezing that win and then that sprint finish today. I've seen the photo finish. I'm sure it's going to go viral. There is nothing in it. It was remarkable.
Let's have a look again at the finish, and we might get you to talk us through it. How was it here?
Well, it was such a decision of whether to go in front of her and start sprinting or to try and wait on her shoulder. I tried to go for it, and right at the end, I could see her, and I tried to get it, but I guess I didn't.
You threw a slight elbow there. Just a little tiny elbow. Was that not an elbow there?
I didn't mean to, and then she was telling me on the podium, she's like, I have a cramp in my arm, and I don't know why, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that might have been me.
Don't look at the replay. Never look at the replay. But a fantastic effort nonetheless, and you must be just so happy with how it all panned out across the course of this entire journey.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I couldn't, well, I guess I could have gotten this one, but I'm so happy with how this whole series has gone, and it's a great way to start the 2019 year.
Let's have a look now at the men. We're building up to the men's Enduro, and the state of play is a very, very tight one. The championship points, Vincent Lewis, 75 points, Henry Schoeman, 63, Richard Murray, 48, Jonathan Brownlee, 46. Now, that was coming into this weekend. Vincent Lewis had a puncture yesterday, finished 17, so he's way back in terms of rankings, and here is the race for the title. If Henry Schoeman now finishes first or second today, he is almost certainly our champion, barring an incredibly unlikely turn of events. If he finishes below second, he still can win the title, but it opens the door just slightly for Jonathan Brownlee, the Olympic silver medalist, and the world number 2, Vincent Lewis, who will be looking to bounce back from that one. But what a race we're in for.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was so sad to see Vince yesterday, but I just know he's going to come back really strong for today, and yesterday was super interesting for the men, so I don't know what's going to happen today.
There was the puncture yesterday, as I said before, a little bit of Tokyo drift and a little staple in the tyre. He rode 3 laps with a flat tyre and tried to run his way back in, but he couldn't quite do it. Just Super League, just when you think everything's going to work out, something comes out of left field.
Well, I think we both were shocked in that first stage with him going down, being eliminated. But what it does, it opens the door for Vincent Louis today to be a lot more tactical than he's had to be all season. He's just dominated these races, but now he has to make sure there's certain people in between Henry Schoeman and Jonathan Brownlee in particular, the only people that can challenge him for the title. But what's he going to do? He can't go off the front and win it. Does he stay to keep it together? Does he force a race between the others? I can't wait to watch this one go unfold.
Speaking of Jonathan Brownlee, he had a bit of a terrible year in 2018. He starts 2019 with a big win, and you can tell it meant a lot to him. Up until about 15 minutes ago, it was the best winning moment of Super League Singapore until it was overtaken by Katie and Cassandra. But it meant a lot to Johnny, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it's awesome to see him come back after a year that he kind of struggled with, and especially with this heat and humidity, which he's also struggled with in the past, so it's going to be an exciting race today.
Yeah, the athletes, the men are just starting to line up for the Enduro. It's going to be a fantastic one. We can see them heading into the water. It's going to be 9 legs, swim, bike, run, Swim, bike, run, if you can believe that. No breaks whatsoever. You guys did it in about an hour. Maybe the men will crack the hour. We'll have to wait and see. We had a chance to talk to both the man who led the championship and perhaps was the favourite coming in, to the man who's favourite now as well. Vincent Lewis and Henry Schoeman took time to talk to us this morning heading into this one.
Definitely yesterday was tough. It's hard to just can't act as you want to act, but yeah, it's racing, it's sport, and I had a good night. I did some math with my coach to just check where I was with the points, but everything's still possible. So I will race my pure style, angry from the start to the finish, and yeah, I will make my opponents run for their money.
You obviously missed out on the majority of the race yesterday, so you come into this race today, the Enduro, just a little bit fresher.
Yeah, I hope so. I felt good yesterday during the first leg, but unlucky I had that flat tire, but the feeling was good. I can wait for race today. I think I'm maybe a bit fresher than my opponents, but yeah, we'll see. Sometimes you're better on the second day.
So Henry, yesterday's mishap for Vincent Lewis has worked in your favour, and you now stand a great chance of taking the overall title. Do you think that adds pressure to your race today?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that Vincent had that puncture in the first race. It's really bad luck, but I do feel for him. I think he's going to come out guns blazing today, which is good. It will be highly competitive today, but yeah, I don't think I have that championship title. There's still a lot that can happen today. We've got Johnny Brownlee, who's doing really well. He won the race yesterday, so I think it's all open. He could also take the championship title. It just all depends what happens today in the Enduro. So I think it's going to be really nail biting, and you know, for me, I'm just going to focus on my own race. I just want to have the best race that I can possible, and hopefully, you know, the Enduro I think is more my type of race, so let's see what happens.
Such is the beauty of Super League Triathlon. The Vincent Lewis can take maximum points across 3 rounds, and one puncture something out of his control, and now he's not the championship favourite anymore. Henry Schoeman, who's finished second in Jersey, second in Malta, second in Mallorca, has bided his time and finished 4th yesterday and takes in a little bit of an advantage. It's still anyone's race though, and it was good for those guys to take the time to talk to us. Vince, I noticed there, said he's going to race angry, he's going to run angry. He has to run tactical as well though, doesn't he?
I think that's the key of the race today, is the tacticality that Vincent has to apply to this
Is that
event.
a word?
I don't know, but it sounds
Tacticality.
good. Tacticality.
Yeah,
but I think the takeaway from me yesterday was the disappointment that Henry Schoeman in his interview, that he didn't want to win the championship this way. He wanted Vince to be in magnificent form, not to put a puncture to give him the championship win, but you know, you take it when you get it, and I think he's going to race with anger and aggression himself.
Katie, how do you see this one playing out? You've got Jonathan Brownlee having a win after a tough year. He's back on form, obviously. Henry Schoeman, you can never count him out, the Commonwealth Games gold medalist. And, of course, Vincent has been wearing the pink with you all the way through the season. What is going to happen?
I think Tommy Zafiris is going to take the win. No, for the men who are in contest for the standings, I really have no idea. I think Vince is going to race really, really assertively and aggressively, and but Johnny's known to always race that way, and so is Henry, so I don't want to call that one.
Well, Katie, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. It's only been 15 minutes since you've won. Congratulations. We can't wait to have you back again in season 2019-20.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you.
We're excited to have you as well. It's all about the Enduro. We've just seen it performed by the women excellently. This is how it all plays out.
The Enduro, designed as the ultimate test of an athlete's physical stamina and their mental grit. Long, brutal, unforgiving and simple. Swim, bike, run, okay, that seems fine, but then do it again, and then do it again. 3 triathlons back to back to back. No room for rest, no room for error. 9 legs, 8 transitions, and a live elimination with 2 athletes cut at the end of each discipline. 16 athletes will fall on the way to the final leg, survive and earn a chance to run to victory. A unique combination of pace and strategy, conservation and aggression. The Enduro, prepare for the ultimate test. It's called the Enduro for a reason. It's about staying mentally sharp while you dig deeper than ever before, with 8 transitions across 9 legs. 2 athletes eliminated at the end of each leg. And if you survive that, you make it through to the race finish. That is an achievement all in itself. The Enduro, one of the toughest formats ever devised.
Well, I think the male athletes might be enjoying slightly cooler conditions here now in Singapore, but not by much. Athletes really relaxed, but I'm starting to feel the nerves just slightly bubbling away. It's a tough day today, a tough contest. Alongside me, a man that raced very well indeed yesterday and literally pushed Johnny Brownlee to the wire. How are you feeling today, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I could give you a fake answer, but I feel honestly my legs are trash, but I'm sure a lot of the guys are saying the same thing behind closed doors, so we'll have a good crack at it today. It's going to be, I mean, you say it cooled down, but it's still like 28 degrees here, and we're not diving into something warm, so that'll play to my advantage for sure.
Yeah, you just mentioned the water temperature up around 30 degrees. Now that's pretty hot, isn't it? You're not going to get a cooling effect when you dive back in.
No, you don't get that same reprieve, and we'll see hopefully that play out and play on people as the race goes on. I think we'll see a lot more damage done because it's continuous and we don't get that 10 minutes in the ice bath, so that'll be an interesting factor.
Well, I tell you what, Tyler, a lot of the athletes have been talking about you. You're a slight athlete and you seem to absorb the heat here very well. What was it like running on the shoulder of a multiple Olympic medalist yesterday?
Pretty surreal. I've done it once before, and I got him last time and he got me this time, so I honestly thought I had it with 500 to go and he just cranked it up and I was no match for the man.
Tyler, of course, no rest today. What are going to be your tactics with this swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run?
If I have a good race, you won't see me to the last run.
That's where you're going to hold back until. Yeah. Great stuff. Good luck, Tyler. Can't wait to see you race. Well, still a huge amount to play for here, but as we saw in the men's race yesterday, a whole lot can happen. Takes nerves of steel and absolutely no mishaps for a great race here in Singapore.
The last day of the last round of Super League Triathlon. We are going to crown our champion in just over an hour's time. Right now, though, it's the men's Enduro. We saw such a fantastic race. Couldn't have scripted it better in the women's Enduro. If you missed that, go to superleaguetriathlon.com or the YouTube channel, or check out one of the replays on one of the many networks around the world that carry Super League Triathlon and are buying into what is a phenomenon in multisport. Over 1 billion households reached with this fantastic weekend from Singapore, just north of the equator, and it certainly feels that way. Incredibly humid and hot. The city there you can see in the background, Sentosa Cove, is where we are racing. Richard Murray is in position number 1, a champion from 2017. Jonathan Brownlee is a championship contender as well. Look out for him. Going down, Luke Schofield, Ryan Bailey, Jaden Schofield, Hayden Wild. He has been so good, Hayden Wild. The Kiwi, and Tommy Zafiris. Well, that's Katie Zafiris' tip for the entire thing. Her husband, he's a fantastic swimmer and Olympic trialist. Oscar Coggins raced out of his skin. The man from Hong Kong yesterday, and Jumpy Furuya from Japan will be hoping for a little bit better. Here's our championship points. Vincent Lewis is at the top, but he's under all sorts of pressure from Henry Schoeman of South Africa, the Rio bronze medalist and Commonwealth Games gold, and multiple duathlon world champion Richard Murray, as well as Jonathan Brownlee, who won yesterday and so took the maximum points from the day. If he can do that again today, he is in with every chance of stealing that $100,000, as is Schoeman, because Vincent Lewis had a puncture on the bike course. Here is our course map. It is a straight shot, actually. It doesn't show it there, out to the boys. 2 quick turns and back in for 300. The bike and the run are both on the same course. 900-metre lap, a chicane at the bottom. Ocean Way, you can see that is all tarmac, but plenty of it is paved and there's some changes in surface. The run is 2 laps of that course. The bike is 5 laps and it is fast and flat. Lewis will be in the pink, has been all season. Henry Schoeman is the best swimmer. He'll be in the blue. Our bike split leader, Richard Murray, and our run leader from the best splits in Majorca, Jonathan Brownlee. The best in transition, Ben Canute. Our young athletes will be in the white. You can see a couple of them there in Luke and Jaden Schofield, number 77 and 95, the identical twins. Water temp, an amazing 29 degrees. 31 in the air, and the Enduro, 9 legs, gets underway right now.
It's a clean start.
A slow start, though, from Igor Polyansky, who led the swim out. He's on the left-hand side, but Matt Hauser on the far left has immediately taken some clean water at the front. He is a 20-year-old, had an accident, ran into a car door last year on the bike. He's just coming back. He finished 11th yesterday. He was very strong early on, but just found wanting a little bit in the conditions. And there he is, the Australian, who is back to some kind of form for 2019, and it is good to see him back too. He had some fantastic results.
Tommy Zaferis was straight to Matt Hauser's feet. Matt is renowned for his ridiculously quick starts. We saw it in Jersey last year, and I commented yesterday that in his second stage yesterday he was a little slower. I spoke to him this morning about it, and he felt a little bit tired yesterday. He feels a lot better this morning after his warm-up, and he's looking forward to the Enduro format.
Well, there he is leading out. Tommy Zaferis behind him, as we said, an Olympic trialist in...
Well, that's Polyansky.
Is it Polyansky?
Yeah,
no, he's right. He's just gone... Even though he had a very slow start, he's managed to get on the feet there. And Igor Polyansky, incredibly experienced, the Russian, and then Zaferis behind them, and a little bit of a gap back to Vincent Lewis, who knows that he needs to have things turn his way, but also produce one of his best performances if he's to hold off Henry Schoeman and Jonathan Brownlee. Schoeman, you can see that in the blue there, in about 5th position next to Vincent Lewis, and Schoeman will just be glued to Vince Lewis the whole way through, knowing that if they can finish together, then Henry Schoeman will likely be our Super League Triathlon champion. Yesterday, there was 25 points to Johnny Brownlee out of a possible 25. Tyler Mislachuk, we saw interviewed there by Annie Emerson.
Johnny Brownlee, a long way back
he is.
With Richard Murray.
He's wearing the red there. You can see him just turning the buoy, so he's already probably 20-odd metres back on Hauser, who continues to lead this one, and if anything, he's actually got a little bit out on Polyansky, who's just waiting back a bit.
See, Johnny Brownlee came around that last swim boy. He moved to the right to get away from the hustle and bustle and get some clear water and start to move up, because as we know, that the last two out of the water, or the last two across the line in each discipline are eliminated, and he was a little bit further back than he wanted to be. Sometimes you don't know where you are in the water, you just know you're a fair way back. He needs to slide up, and two are going to go after this first swim, so a 3-minute race for two athletes.
Yeah, two rules that we need to keep emphasising is every time through transition, the last two will be eliminated. There is also an 80-second rule in effect. If you fall 80 seconds behind the leaders at any transition, you too will be eliminated. If you are not in the bottom two, but you are still 80 seconds behind, we'll have more than two eliminated until we arrive potentially at a Super 6. And then those Super 6 will head through on to finish this race. But Matt Hauser leads at the moment from Igor Polyansky, Tommy Zaferis, and Vincent Louis, and Henry Schoeman. Our championship contenders are in 4th and 5th.
Henry Schoeman's moved up right next to Vincent Louis. As you said, he'll tag him the whole swim. And Igor Polyansky, who led out yesterday, playing a little bit more tactically. He was the one who was first out of the water, but drifted right back in opening stage yesterday and then ended up being eliminated.
Matt Hauser out of the water. Tommy Zaferis second. Igor Polyansky with him as well. Vincent Lewis and Henry Schoeman. Two men will be eliminated. Someone is way off the back at the moment. We'll bring that to you. Dorian Connix, Ben Canute there as well. Jonas Schomburg. There is Johnny Brownlee in the red. Ryan Bailey, Matt Sharp, who had a great effort yesterday.
There's Richard Murray.
Tyler Mislachuk. Richard Murray survives. One person's not going to survive this one, and I think, is it going to be Oscar Coggins? Yes, it is. So he is eliminated by 1 metre behind Ollie Turner.
And
Nathan Killam is out. Well. Nathan Killam is our other eliminated athlete, the man from Canada, the 3rd Canadian in the field. And already they are out on the bike and the pace is being pushed. You saw Leo Berger there quickly. He had some problem with his feet yesterday, ran in bare feet, if you can believe that. They're all blistered up, but he's trying to make it at least to the second run. At the front, it's Tommy Zaferis, who doesn't have the greatest run. He's got to push the pace on the bike. Hauser behind him, Igor Polyansky.
Sharp and Canute, and there's Johnny Brownlee, who won yesterday. Will move up. Ryan Bailey there. And Matt Sharp. On here's our bike leader, and Richard Murray, the best on the bike, and our youth. And Andreas Schilling a lot further back than he needs to be.
All right, great shots from our drone. We can see as they come around the back end of the course. And it's Tommy Zaferis. As we say, he has a great swim, he has an excellent bike, and he needs to push it and gap as many people as he can with the elimination rule in effect. Hauser, Polyansky, Vincent Lewis, Schoeman, Dorian Connix, Ben Canute. So a couple of Frenchmen up the front. Johnny Brownlee, who won yesterday, leads Ryan Bailey in the second group. And they can't afford to let these guys get away too much. Don't forget, it's swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run. No breaks this time.
Last two are eliminated. Last two across the line at each discipline are eliminated. And Richard Murray a lot further back than I think he would like to be. I know his swim is not a strength, but he usually in this big mass start, beginnings of these Enduros, is able to slide into a good position and stay up near the front. He's going to have to work these next 2 laps. He's got Johnny Brownlee just in front of him, who knows is going to close this gap to the front, group of about 7. And Richard Murray doesn't want to be outside that firepower in case they put the hammer down and isolate him.
Very good to see Dorian Collins, the Frenchman. There he is there on debut in Super League. I spoke to him this morning, and he was a little shocked by the pace of Super League Triathlon, as people are when they come in for the first time, and just didn't have it in the second swim at the opening of the second stage. So we'll see what he's like when he gets into the water this time. Big group with a couple of Canadians in Mislachuk and Sharp. Hayden Wild is a little bit back in the pack.
He's got Richard Murray with him. And you know one thing about Hayden Wild, he's going to chase and chase and chase. Richard Murray is a tactically very, very smart athlete. He'll know that. He's probably sitting behind Hayden going, go, 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 making him do a lot more work than he has to, and he'll close those gaps.
Schilling and Ollie Turner there. Luke Schofield as well, wearing the white. They're the young athletes. Also the white as in Matt Hauser, as he checks that he's got his goggles in the front of his jersey just to make sure.
Look at Johnny Brownlee at the back of the screen, looking over his shoulder, asking for some help. Ryan Bailey, please come around. I've been on the front for the last 2 laps. If we're going to close this gap, we've got to work together. He's a bit frustrated, Johnny. He knows it's dangerous. I think when Richard Murray and Hayden Wild get across to this group, he'll get some help, and that gap will close.
Yeah, how quickly things can string out. Schilling, Turner, Schofield. That's Jaden Schofield. Here's Luke Schofield as well. They had a tangle, those two, yesterday, and that is the back of the race as it stands. So unless these two Schofields, youngsters from Australia, can move up, they're going to both face elimination at the same time. I know they like to do things together, but elimination is not one of them. Here's the front of our race as they come round again. Hauser now in the lead.
And there's some urgency to this front group. Both Matt Hauser and Tommy Zaferis have been doing a lot of work on the front. I think when you get little gaps like this, you take those opportunities to force the athletes behind to do a little bit more work than they have to. It's about endurance. That's why this event's called Enduro. And the more work you do on the front end of this race, the more you're going to pay for it in the back end. And that's where they hope that you can run over the top of a tired Johnny Brownlee. It's a lot more difficult to do, run over the top of a fresh one.
Jaden and Luke Schofield, number 95 and number 77 at the back of our field. Matt Hauser at the front of our field, another Australian. Schoeman and Lewis very much together. And Johnny Brownlee still at the front of this pack. Ryan Bailey behind him, and Johnny will be hoping on this straightaway at the back that he can get a little bit more help. Andreas Schilling, Ollie Turner sitting off him, and Mark Yu as well.
Dorian Collins has had his mouth open since the first lap of this bike. He's like he's hanging on for dear life. The one thing, Igor Poliansky, who drifted back yesterday, has stayed a lot closer to the front group. He's got such a big swim. He really struggles on the run, but he knows his swimming can close those gaps, and he needs to escape with his first race to make sure he can get through to the second.
There is Mark Yu, who's having a bit of a lonely race. The man from Hong Kong, and behind him, Jaden Schofield and Luke Schofield. So Matt Hauser has taken the gas off and dropped to the back of that pack. You can see Hayden Wild trying to move up his way through that one as well.
Yeah, together, the groups have come together, and interesting is Tyler Mislachuk, who ultimately closed that gap at the end. We heard him earlier talking to Annie Emerson, saying, if you don't see me all race until the last triathlon, I've had a great race. So he saw the desperation in getting across to this group. There's too much firepower up front with big runs. He's looking for an overall round win today. He finished second yesterday.
Yeah, it's all about the championship in this race. Vincent Lewis had a terrible day yesterday, had a puncher, finished 17th. He has a 12-point lead still over Henry Schoeman, but it all comes down to results in this one. Lewis needs to have a great result, and he needs to put people between himself and Henry Schoeman if he is to win. Otherwise, Schoeman, if he can finish in the top 2 or 3, no matter what Vince does, he will win this one, and at the moment they're second and third. Ollie Turner just shadowing Andreas Schilling as much as possible. He needs to have a better day today. Ollie Turner doesn't want to have a short race.
These are the last three on the field. One of the Schofields there,
Jaden is right behind.
Well, he can sprint there and still stay in it. If he, two are going to go at the. I saw at one section there, both the Schofields was last and second last, but now Jaden's moved up to be in equal second last position. So a sprint could keep him into the next run.
Baruya, Schilling, and Turner, and now Jaden has managed to lift himself out of elimination, and he's having a look he's asking the question. Mark Yu and now Luke Schofield are our two back athletes. The twins, 19 years of age. They finished in a dead heat before in Canberra. They had a tangle with each other yesterday. And now at least Mark Yu stands between them.
It was a terrible turn there by Andreas Schilling. He overgeared that one, he came out, he had to stop it. Look at the gap he's left. That was just poor gear choice by Andreas Schilling there. He was right on the back of that group, came out of the corner, obviously didn't change gears, went to put some power down. He was in too big a gear. These guys accelerate and the gap's open. And there, the little mistakes can be very, very costly. He has to close this gap or work through on the run to stay in contention. These accumulate over the length of the Enduro, and you pay for it at the back end.
Right, now at the front of this race is our championship leader. 1 and 2 in the championship, 1 and 2 in the race. Henry Schoeman second, plenty of talent behind. Richard Murray's moved up, Hayden Wild's moved up, and Ollie Turner has tacked onto the back of this pack, and he'll need to stay there and work very hard to do so.
When he goes to the front, Vincent Louis just applies so much power. You see the gaps really start to open up. He sits very, very high on his bottom. There's a crash. Jaden's hit the ground again. Is that
so yet another accident for Jaden Schofield, just as he moved out of the danger zone. He has fell right back into it. In fact, it looks like he'll be over, and also Faroui has done the same. So he's back on the bike, the Japanese.
And Luke Schofield's probably slid straight past his brother, is now safe.
Well, we'll see in just a second as they come off the bike for the first time. Great dismounts in traffic from all of our athletes, so accomplished at that. Make it look very easy. Tommy Zafiris leads us in. Vince Louis has a little bit of trouble racking his bike there. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, and our race director, Michael Thompson, is out there ready to hold out the yellow elimination flag for the two last in. But Schoeman leads out Vince Lewis. Someone's in front of both of them as well. And that is Faruya. No, who was that? Mark Yu?
Yeah, he survived, so both the twins are out. Both the twins will be eliminated together again.
Together again. And here is a replay, and he's just come in a little bit hot, overcorrected and gone straight over the bars, slid out on the front. And both Luke Schofield and Jaden Schofield come in 1 and 2, and that is their day done. Both their parents are here, huge fans of Super League Triathlon, watching their sons compete, and they've learnt plenty.
Yeah, the first time we've got to see Vincent Louis run this weekend. Very controlled early season for him. He's gone away after the last round in Mallorca. He's been working very, very hard with his coach. There's been a big group of them together doing a big winter base. He looks as relaxed as ever. Henry Schumann looks a little bit better than he did yesterday. And Johnny Brownlee, no panic there. Hayden Wild on the back. And Richard Murray, who hasn't done a lot of running, just off the back of them again.
Yeah, struggling with an ankle injury. He's only run 8 days in 2019, which for me would be a lot, but for him, not very much whatsoever. But it held up quite well in the first couple of stages of the Eliminator yesterday. At the front of our race, though, are our championship contenders. After a 17th place yesterday and just 1 round point, Vincent Lewis leads from Henry Schoeman, who finished 4th yesterday and thus took a whole haul of points. And Ollie Turner is finding the going tough, the man from Jersey, the pride of Jersey. There's plenty of people on that lovely island, which we'll visit again in September, who are watching right now and love cheering their hometown boy on in Super League Triathlon. At the front, though, it's Schoeman and Lewis. One of these men, it is likely, will win the championship at the end of this race, but lurking behind all of them is Jonathan Brownlee, who's moved up into about 6th position. He also has a chance to win this one. He had a big win yesterday, and it meant a lot to him, you could tell, as he came across the line.
There's Leo Bergier with shoes on today.
That's a nice look for him.
Yeah, his feet are destroyed. We saw them before the start of the race. He opted to run the last run yesterday without shoes. His feet were slipping in him. He took them off and destroyed his shoes. There was a question mark whether he'd start today because his feet were in such bad way. He's there, but he's to be right up the front, still moving quite well. It's a good sign for him. There's a lot on the line for Leo. Top 5 finish in the championship series.
We've had a withdrawn athlete. It's Furuya of Japan. Has withdrawn from this race. He's found the going very, very fast over the course of the weekend.
And Richard Murray off the back here.
And Richard Murray, yes, also having a little struggle. Jonas Schomburg's really had a great round. He had a stage win yesterday. The German, he's really coming to his own in these hot conditions. Matt Sharp as well, and Tyler Mizuchuk, the 2 Canadians, and ahead of Andreas Schilling is Richard Murray wearing the green by virtue of the fastest bike splits in our previous round in Mallorca back in October. Tommy Zafiris is tagging onto the back of this pack, and he'll need to stay there if he's to stand a chance of avoiding elimination. As we get an update on our timing screens, and all the big names are up towards the top. Richard Murray is the one who's missing there. He comes in 13th, 5 seconds ahead of Andreas Schilling. And there is Igor Polyansky, who really had a tough bike run yesterday after a great swim and ended up spat out the back early on.
Yeah, Igor Polyansky's run has been right off for this entire league. His swim's been magnificent, and some races his bike's been okay and his run's okay, but definitely here in Singapore, his run is 30–40% off the front athletes. He needs to go back to the drawing board, work over the season with the Tokyo Olympics just around the corner. He was using this series to refine a lot of the skills, and the one highlight for him is he needs to work on that run.
Well, at least he knows exactly what he needs to work on now. Back in 16th position is Oliver Turner. 50 seconds back now. There is an 80-second rule, so if you fall behind through any transition, 80 seconds, you are gone. But a huge group, and this really works, I suppose, at this point into the hands of Vincent Lewis, and he needs this to work.
Without question. You sat up all night crunching the numbers.
I did. I'm tired.
Yeah, Vincent Lewis needs that big group to stay together. He can go away and win this thing, but it's the athletes he puts between him and Henry Schoeman that take away the vital points that ultimately are going to win him this championship.
So in Henry Schoeman's mind, do you think he needs to continue to push the pace, string this one out, and force Vince to go with him?
Well, it's a difficult position for Henry Schoeman to be in because he knows that Vincent Lewis is going to cover every move he does. If you're Vincent Lewis, you try and keep it together and hope that the natural order of things. You saw Henry Schoeman got beaten yesterday. His run doesn't seem to be as good as it was in the other rounds, and hope that 4 or 5 people can sneak in and out-kick him. Henry's not renowned for his sprint finish. Vincent knows he can out-kick anyone in this field, so keeping the pace as slow as possible, I believe, actually plays into Vincent Lewis's hands.
We'll see exactly how this plays out. Henry Schoeman was complaining a little bit last night of maybe some soreness or some tightness up in his rib cage. We saw him holding it a little bit yesterday as he was trying to stay with the leaders, and a fast pace it was at the end of stage 3 of the Eliminator. So
you can see Hayden Wild on the left of the screen at the back already with his swim goggles on. Starting to plan for this second swim. Hayden, not a big swimmer. He wants to get through transition quick, try and get in that water as close to the front as he possibly can, and have athletes swim around him over the next 300 in the water.
Polyansky, a lonely figure, the Russian, at this point as he runs down the back side of our course. Oliver Turner is behind him, and you think those two are the ones who are going to see the yellow flag at the end of the run. At the front, though, as we get the pictures off our motorbike, there is a bunch, and all of them, bar Hayden Wild, have got their swim caps on already, and there they go on. Bergier as well has managed to make it through the first run, so he'll be boosted by that, even with the state of his feet, as they head through and start the second of 3 consecutive triathlons. Tommy Zafiris is next. And Hauser looks much more comfortable today than he did yesterday when it reached this stage.
And he's got a massive swim on him, so he's very, very comfortable in his head right now. He knows no one's going to swim around him. He's going to enter the water first, set the pace, control the tempo. It's the best place to be.
Mizuchuk, he said before he didn't want to see himself at the front of the race. He's sitting in second position at the moment,
which is a good sign. Tyler Missile Launch, we decided to call him after his performance yesterday. I was speaking to him at breakfast.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What, but the two of you decided that?
Yeah. I said, how are you ready? You ready to go? And he said, I feel like I'm a missile about to launch. I said, oh, that rhymes with his surname.
It doesn't rhyme with his surname
That's
at
what
all.
It does. Mislachok, Missile Launch.
if that right, I don't know
I don't know. I'm not a rapper.
situation in
I'm
which
not
that
a rapper.
was.
Leo Bergier there, Ben Canute, and Richard Murray ran right onto the back of that group. Great transitions, and Andreas Schilling.
Oh, Andreas Schilling in 13th.
Tommy Zafiris, who
he
can
needs to
swim.
swim his way back. Very much so as they come around the outside of that boat there, and here comes the dreaded yellow
So Tom
for Oliver Turner, who has done his very best, and Mark Yu as well from Hong Kong. So two very different athletes from very different backgrounds. And they have given absolutely everything, Mark Yu. And let's have a look at Johnny Brownlee here. He's just rolled his ankle, which hurts, and he's gone down on his knees and gone into the water. And we're just going to have to keep an eye on that from Jonathan Brownlee, who just went down that step and rolled his ankle, and that could cruel his chances.
He's still swimming there in 5th position. You see him in the red jersey. So he's got 300 metres to deal with that in his head, but he's not going to know any damage till he hits dry land. There's 15 still in the field.
Yeah, 15. And they're just about all in that group there. So the 80-second rule not into effect at the moment.
This is a safe place for Viva. If you see that green jersey at the back, Richard Murray, not renowned for his swimming. He's a 4-time duathlon world champion, which is run bike. He's starting to drift a little bit further back than he'd like to be. He's got Tommy Zafiris, who can swim, who entered the water last. He'll move past Richard Murray. I'm pretty confident about that. But the two of them, two at the back, will be eliminated after this swim.
Richard Murray still in mathematical contention to win this whole thing, as Dorian Connix just finds himself hitting the
and Hayden Wild back there.
So Murray, an elimination here, will end his chances of a podium. He had a tough day yesterday. False started off the pontoon, hit the water. Even though he didn't get any advantage, he hit the water before the official start, so we got a 5-second penalty in transition, and that paid to his chances of a top 5 finish as Matt Hauser continues to lead this one. Alongside him, Schoeman and Lewis, so exalted company for the Australian.
There's no pace on at the moment. You can see them grouped together like that. I think they're at 80% effort there. Henry Schoeman with a beautiful swim technique. Vincent Lewis sitting right off his shoulder in the best position to ever swim if you want to get a draft. On his other side is Matt Hauser. That's Igor Poliansky, yes.
Past one of Macca's boats is Igor Poliansky, right at the top of pitch, just turning the buoy. So this will be the end of his race, you would think.
Which means someone on the back here, and I did get a glimpse of a Australian.
Schilling, potentially?
No, well, I saw it look like an Australian or a New Zealand flag, which means to me it's either Ryan Bailey or Hayden Wild drifted a little bit further back, which puts him in danger. He's not renowned for his big swim. I'm looking at the back of the field right now, and that looks like an Australian or a New Zealand flag.
There's Poliansky at the very top, but who's there second from last? Very difficult to tell. First out of the water, though, will be Schoeman and Lewis, who are just stuck together like glue, a little bit like Spivey and Klammer.
Johnny Brownlee looks to be
round,
okay.
So let's have a
He's
look.
Moving all right.
Brownlee, Schomburg and Canute, who's always there or thereabouts. The two Canadians, Sharp and Sharp, both train together. They're out together. Bergier, Connix, two Frenchmen, Zafiris, Schilling, Murray survives, and Hayden Wild
is out.
Hayden Wild will be showing the flag, Willie. He is a contender as well, and here it is.
Out.
The flag is given, and that's disappointing for Hayden Wild. Wow, 6th overall in Jersey. He had a great Malta in Mallorca. He's improved across the course of this series, and that's a disappointing result for the 21-year-old.
And that throws things up for the overall day for Vincent Louis. He needed Hayden Wild in that mix to move the round around today in order for those points to help him take out Henry Schoeman. So that's a big loss.
We do have a scoring system giving scores out of 10 ranking against other athletes for each of the disciplines, and Hayden Wild has a 5.6 in the swim, which is the lowest of the top 14. So it really caught up with him there compared to an 8.5 and 8.2 for the bike and the run. So another little learning experience on the course of what will be a great career. Ben Canute is the man you want at the front of your chasing pack, no doubt. And Igor Poliansky, who's had a tough weekend. Well, thankfully for him, in some respects, it'll be over now. So, number 53, Hayden Wild. That is a huge turn of events. He finished 3rd overall in the Eliminator yesterday, and yet he finds himself 5th position in the championship, eliminated early.
He's been the real find of the series, to be quite honest, and with the double points on today, that's going to move him around for the contracts.
Should still be okay.
He'll be
It's
okay,
hard
but
to tell because people behind him like
Matt
Leo
Sharp.
Bergier, Ben Canute, sorry, Tyler Mislachuk.
Who had a great day yesterday and is right up there today. Matt Sharp, who's having a fantastic weekend of racing.
Yeah,
double
Matt
points.
Sharp is looking to move into the top 10 too. So there's going to be a lot of movement. The top 10 at the end of this race in championship points will get a contract. That's guaranteed cash, guaranteed arrival of the races, everything put on in Super League style, and the chance to race for an increased prize money pot too. That's a big, big ticket for these athletes. But at the front, it's all about the championship. Hauser in 3rd behind Henry Schumann and Vincent Lewis. A couple of Frenchmen in Bergier and Connix there. Both with great pedigrees. Gregorian Connix, the 25-year-old Olympian, junior and under-23 world champion in 2014, 2015. He'll be racing Bali. And we're hearing now that Hayden Wild is being carried off. There he is. So the heat catching up to Hayden Wild. It was an uncharacteristic performance out of the water. So we'll keep you updated on how Hayden Wild is. He'll go into the ice bath trying to drop his core temperature. Everything going to plan though for Schumann and Lewis as they fight it out for $100,000 and $50,000 for 1st and 2nd. 3rd place, Jonathan Brownlee's fighting with Richard Murray for that one. At the moment, Brownlee looks the goods there if his ankle can hold. There is Murray with Zefiris right behind and Schilling behind him, and I think that's the back of our race at this point.
Leo Bergier and Connix went through that chicane so well. They went in 5 or 6 seconds back and slid out the other side, halved that distance. They just magnificent bike handling skills. As you can see, Vincent Lewis has taken off the gas. Johnny's not too happy about that move, straight around him.
Johnny knows he needs to put some time into these guys. He's sitting 3rd overall in terms of points, and he had a win yesterday. He wants to back it up with another one, take the 20,000 for the round win and put himself right in contention for a podium place overall as well. So it's an ever-changing matrix here. Matt Hauser back again. Johnny's had to work just a touch harder after a slower start on the bike the first time around. As they head across the black carpet and out of transition once again. The 2nd bike of 3, the 3rd lap of 5 in this sector. Schomburg, Schumann, Lewis, Mislachuk, Bergier, Canute, Sharp, Connix rounds out your top 10. There's hardly anything to put between them. But there's a bit of a gap back there to Zefiris, Murray and Schilling now. 2 of these men, it looks like, will go home at the end of this bike lap. So 3 into 2 does not go, and Richard Murray does not want to be one of them.
Moves all those points he can get. He can't get eliminated here. He needs to move up just to stay into the run to get the vital finishing positions.
Through the Singapore chicane, out the front of the W Hotel and onto Ocean Way and the tarmac. Back 3 head through the chicane as well. Don't want to be at the back when you come through that area and get slowed down. Schilling, we don't know if he knows. He's had the ability to tell whether he is at the back of the race. He'll know there's no one directly behind him. There's not a lot of places to find out exactly where you're placed. Johnny Brownlee leads after a win yesterday. Jonas Schomburg, as we said, having a great weekend. And there's the gap back to our trailing 3. 13 left in this race. It's now an odd number with 10 gone from our 23 who started.
They'll start to pick it up now. This is the business end. This next run in particular, this lap and the next run, as they start to move to positions, they know the back of the group is starting to move closer to them as the 2 behind them are eliminated. And this next run will be brutal. This is when you're going to start to see things unwind.
Just looking at the look on Dorian Connix's face there, I think he's digging really deep. He's burned a lot of his matches, Dorian Connix. You know he can run a sub-30 10K though, so he knows how to run his way out of trouble. Schomburg at the front from Brownlee, and now Mislachuk is up there, and there's Matt Sharp, who ran to a 50 yesterday. A great result for him too.
Dorian Connix has just seemed to not be able to move up at all. Out of every corner, he just gets dropped off the back. He spends the entire straights riding back onto the back of that wheel. His mouth's been open since he got on the bike in the first round through, and he would do it a lot easier if he slid up into third or fourth wheel.
Well, he actually had this exact same, he had a complaint about that this morning, his exact same position he was in yesterday.
Yeah.
Comes through the chicane, gets caught up with everybody, and then watches them string out along the back and have to work as hard as he possibly can.
You'll watch it here in the distance. He's already off the back trying to fight to get back on. As they go around that corner, it opens up again, he sprints again. It just burns so much for the next run.
And it burns so much. There he is in the middle of your screen as he's trying to find a way through, and he just can't. There's not a lot of width in this. He goes straight across to the other side, trying to find a way up, and he just looks like he's having a tough time out there.
And he's
got upside the inside of Matt Sharp, but our back group has managed to tack on.
This will be a bunch sprint. Oh, there's a crash.
Someone's down, and it is Matt Hauser. He's had an accident. He gets up quickly, but he's only got one lap to get back on. If indeed his bike is all right, he's going to be eliminated, definitely.
So Richard Murray's going to slide up here past.
Is he, though? There's still one more to be eliminated.
To
there's still one lap to go, I think. Zafiris is off the back.
Zafiris is not aware that, no, there's a lap to go.
There's a lap to go.
Luckily.
But Matt Hauser, well, it's going to have to be the ride of his life to get onto the back of that after that accident. At the back is Dorian Connix and Tommy Zafiris, and one of them is going to be eliminated because Matt Hauser will hopefully get a replay of that. Has hit the tarmac. Leo Bergier now in the lead. He wanted to make it to the second run. He's going to do that.
Matt Hauser's out. He's not going to ride back onto this group. He's eliminated, so one of these at the back is going to get eliminated. So do we see them move up? What's going to happen here? Richard Murray will not be one of them. I guarantee you. He's too clever. He's too smart. He'll slide up. I think Dorian Connix could find himself in a bit of trouble. He's at the back. Or Tommy Zafiris.
Could be Zafiris.
See Richard
there
Murray's
he is there,
moved up.
the American flag.
Poor Matt Hauser
is going on a warm-down run. He doesn't know it.
He looked to be on song today.
Yeah, disappointing for him, and he's just come out there, and he's actually saved it reasonably well to not hit the barrier there. I'm not sure whether he got touched by somebody else.
Yeah, I think he's clipped the wheel. I think it was Matt Sharp who went to the other side of the road. So he's probably clipped him, and he's down. His day is over. What a shame.
That is a big, big shame. Finished 11th yesterday.
Bergier on the front.
Such a strong competitor, Matt Hauser. He will not be happy with that. The same goes for Hayden Wild.
Is that Andre Schilling's off the back now?
It does appear that way. I can't see Schilling there. No, Schilling's there. Schilling's there. Who is this at the back?
Connix.
Yeah, it's
Dorian
Connix. He's really spent himself to try and stay on, and he will be eliminated as they cross the line. The Frenchman, so strong in mixed team relay, part of the team that won gold in Hamburg in 2018, part of the European Championship team as well. He's had a great season last year, and his race and his time in Super League for this season is at an end. And out we go for the second run.
Schomburg with a massive transition.
So unlucky for Matt Hauser, and you can see it all over his face. He was in great position, and he's very disappointed.
What a shame.
Jonas Schomburg striding out at the front and pushing the pace ahead of Vincent Louis.
Johnny Brownlee,
Schoeman.
Leo Bergier with shoes on. And Richard Murray.
I'm very impressed, though, by what Jonas Schomburg, he's promised a lot. He's really put it together in this round, but he's been getting better across the course of the season.
Andreas Schilling, Tommy Zafiris.
Yeah, Tommy Zafiris is finding the run tough, but Schomburg, he was one of the qualified through Poznan. Of course, we have a qualifier in Bali coming up next month for athletes who want to take some spots in the 2019-20 season. Our top 10 at the end of this championship standings will take a contract. There will be more spots on the line at each of 3 qualifying events. Look up all the details on superleaguetriathlon.com if you want to find a way into this field, if you think you can cut the pace. Bali will go to Poznan again later in the year in Poland, and then finally to Canada. Ben Canute fighting with Matt Sharp, Tyler Mislachuk, and Richard Murray's at the back. There's 11 in the field as it stands.
Richard Murray looks to be in a lot of pain. That foot's starting to play up. You see the grimace.
Yeah, Leo Bergier, as we say, he wanted to get to the second run because he thought his feet were too busted up to survive it. At least get to there to save some points to stay inside the top 10, but he's out there on the second run, and Tommy Zafiris is our back marker. So he'll make it to 11th, which is an incredibly creditable performance from a man who came into the series halfway through by showing us exactly how fast he could swim.
finished 9th in Mallorca, and he's had a very good run here too. So Schomburg leads, a 24-year-old from Germany. Raced a whole bunch in 2018, nearly more than anyone else. Finished 10th in the European Championships in Glasgow. He was part of the mixed team relay German team. He finished 6th in Hamburg. A couple of good World Cup results as well.
He's been moving well all weekend, hasn't he, Jonas? He's shown a lot of promise. He's got a big swim. He rode so well yesterday. He's run right where it needs to be. He's been talked about as a promising young German for many years. His father's a former professional. And it's the photo he'd love to have right now, leading Johnny Brownlee, Vincent Lewis, and Henry Schumann.
Absolutely.
Put that one up on the wall.
Colours of the rainbow behind them there. The pink leader, the run split leader, and the swim split leader, and behind them Leo Berger as well, who's stuck into the top 5, despite the fact he has no soles on the bottom of his feet. And Richard Murray has stopped. Yeah. He's done. He's done for the day. His ankle, he was worried it was going to hold up. He hasn't done a lot of running, and him and Tommy are going to jog around for a victory lap before they're eliminated, and we end up with 9 left. In the back of the picture there, the fiancée of Henry Schumann, Franzel Allen, just urging her partner on. She knows how much rides on this. $100,000 potential at the end if they can stick together, those two. And Ben Canute, in that running style he has, just muscling his way around. Andreas Schilling now on the bubble will be when they head back into the water with Tommy Zafiris and Richard Murray. 2 next athletes likely to be eliminated. At the front, though, a group of 5. Schomburg, Lewis, Brownlee, Schumann, Berger, 2 Frenchmen, a Brit, a South African, and a German.
It was the Canadians that were so strong yesterday back there with Ben Canute. We saw them go through transition just in the back of screen. Tyler was thinking he could win this round. He's obviously a little fatigued. He wouldn't let a gap like this open up if he was feeling in this race. This group's going to stay away, in my opinion, which does not play well for Vincent Lewis in the overall, unless Henry Schumann's at the back of it.
Very true, but at the moment, our 3 potential championship contenders are all in the top 5.
Yes.
Johnny Brownlee. They're withdrawn. Are they not eliminated? That's a question.
Well, if they've just withdrawn, that suddenly makes the 2 at the back of this, the 2 Canadians and Ben Canute, vulnerable for elimination.
At the end of this run.
At the end of this
they
run.
will have just been withdrawn, not eliminated. So 2 men at the end of this run at the back of this pack will be eliminated, and it'll come from Andreas Schilling potentially, as well as 1 from Tyler Mislachuk, Matt Sharp, and Ben Canute.
And they will not be aware of that right now.
No, they won't, because they will have known those 2 are behind, but they would expect them to be eliminated on the next lap. But a withdrawal is not an elimination, and that is why the Enduro is such a tough beast to tame.
You see Andreas Schilling looking back to see who's behind him. He does not know they've been eliminated. He's going to get the yellow flag at the end of this run. He'll be shocked about that.
And there will be a sprint, although it may not be a sprint. It may just be 3 guys running to the line and not realising that one of them is going home.
I expect to see the coach of both Matt Sharp and Tyler Mislachuk and Jonathan Hall roaring across this fan zone to fill those 2 athletes in the back of screen.
That is confirmed. They were injury withdrawals. Tommy Zafiris and Richard Murray. There will be 2 more eliminations, and it will come from those 4 men you can see in focus there. Ben Canute of America. So good. 3-time national champion. Races all distances from half Ironman to super sprint like this, and does it with heart and class. Matt Sharp and Tyler Mislachuk 2nd and 5th yesterday, and Andreas Schilling as well, but a pack of 4 now, so someone's dropped a little off the pace.
I think that's
Berger, is it?
No, it's Schomburg. I think that's Berger is staying very, very close to these 3. Jonas Schomburg has
you're right. Yep.
He has a swim. I think he can swim back up if he gets a quick transition, but that's been the class of those 3 on screen. With Berger being a real standout in the series too, but those 3 on screen have been the class of the last 2 rounds without question. And the 2 there in blue and pink have just had a rivalry throughout this series that has been remarkable to watch.
Vincent Lewis, 75 championship points. Schumann, 63 points. Murray is out now. He was on 48. Johnny Brownlee on 46. Hayden Wild is out on 34, but Leo Berger is there on 32. So, chances to move up in the podium and take a bigger slice of $1.5 million US. And Matt Sharp is the one who is unlucky on that one, and I'm not sure whether that was a sprint or whether they were surprised by the yellow flag. Tyler Mislachuk survives.
As did Ben
Canute, you're right. Beautiful shots from our drone here of Sentosa Cove, our host partners, and they have been fantastic. It is a beautiful place to race.
as long as you don't mind 1,000,000% humidity, which I very much do.
That sprint's brought Tyler Mislachok back into play then. I think he's been told at the end of that straight that he's up for elimination if he doesn't move up. He's had to work all 4 of them and work, and suddenly he's back within this group. He's in striking distance, he swims well, but it was drifting back on that run, but suddenly he's just off Jonas Schomburg.
Brownlee was very tentative on that step there and dive in, and that's just cost him a little bit of time, and he's got to work to just get back on the feet there of Vincent Lewis, which he will do.
Ben Canute at the back who can swim as well.
So there is 7 of our athletes. We've got a couple more at the back in Mislachuk.
Yes, they're swimming for their life here.
That is our 7. That is everybody in the water. That means there'll be 1 elimination to make 6 at the end of this. So, and then our Super 6 will go through to the last 2 disciplines to decide not only our race winners, not only our round winners, but our championship winners. And at the moment, it's Henry Schoeman who looks in control. Vincent Lewis behind him. Schoeman will, well, Brownlee at the moment will be likely the one to take the round win if it stays 1, 2, 3, the 3 of them, because Brownlee won yesterday and took 25 round points.
He knows that too.
4th place for Schoeman. So if Schoeman finishes 4th and 1st, it's Brownlee, if he finishes 3rd in that group, he'll still take the round win. We'll have a look at the sprint that Matt Sharp lost out on between Mislachuk, Canute and himself in just a second. Here it is. So our 4 coming across the line, and then it was a sprint at the back. Canute, no, Schomburg's there in 5th.
Sprint. There's Mislachuk.
Here's the sprint. Mislachuk knew it. He sprinted to the line. Canute knew it, and then it got very, very close, but Schilling couldn't find Canute, and both Schilling and Sharp were gone in the end. So they knew the state of play, and our top 3 have slightly gapped our next 3. Bergier there on the feet of Jonas Schomburg, which is not a bad place to be to drag yourself up. Canute in the silver, you can see right there next to Bergier. And behind them is Mislachuk, who's going to need to do some work to avoid elimination. But out the front is Vincent Lewis. I think he realises at this point that he's going to be hard to shake Henry Schoeman.
Johnny Brownlee's just got the box seat. He's swimming straight off the back of the 2 best swimmers in the sport. A comfortable sit. He'll get a free ride on this run. He's got to save his legs for a big run. Vincent Louis got a lot fresher legs without doing yesterday's eliminator. By staying 30 wins today.
That's right, if he stays 3rd, Johnny Brownlee, he wins the round. He'll pick up $20,000 US. He doesn't need to beat these 2. But in terms of championship, it's all up for grabs between these 3. They're the 3 that can potentially win it at the moment. You'd have to put your money on Henry Schoeman, who had a decent finish yesterday after Vincent Lewis's puncture.
Trying to see who's drifted to the back of this swim, because one of them are going to go to leave our Super 6. There'll be 1 elimination.
Well, Schomburg's, I think, in 4th position as it stands. Bergier perhaps behind him. That leaves Mislachuk and Canute, the Canadian and the American. I think that is Schomburg in 4th.
Yeah, that's
so Schomburg doesn't have a swim cap on. He's the man sans swim cap. Looking in the rule book, is that legal?
I'm not sure. I'm assuming so. I think it's Mislachuk. No, it is Mislachuk at the back.
And Bergier, Canute, and it's going to be Mislachuk. He's sprinting up as fast as he can to try and take Canute, but he's not going to get there. He is not going to get there, and that hurts Tyler Mislachuk. Had a great result to 2nd yesterday, but couldn't quite bridge the gap. And it's a game of inches, Super League Triathlon. Of that, there is no doubt. Brownlee out onto the bike. That group of 3 remain. Pink, blue and red. Our championship contenders leading this race. The last one in season 2018-19 before our qualifiers begin to fill the spots on the roster for 2019-20, which begins in Jersey again in September.
This group of 3 are gone. Ben Canute now, screen at the back there. He'll ride as hard as he possibly can. He only knows 1 speed. Ben Canute, head down,
Schomburg
flat
needs
out.
to get on that wheel
Schomburg wants that wheel quickly. Leo Bergier, technically beautiful on a bike.
has done superbly, given his injuries, to be there in the top 6. He'll be very happy with that. All right, we're hearing that despite the fact that if he went into the water without the swim cap on, that would have been a DQ, but the swim cap came off in the water. John Schomburg attempted to put it back on. Wasn't possible. He's okay. He carries on. So, good news for German fans. He's in 5th position as it stands, with Leo Bergier right behind him and working hard to get onto the tail of Ben Canute, who will muscle his way up if he can. 2 groups of 3 left on now this 8th of 9 disciplines. The last race of Super League 2018-19. Our champions to be crowned. 3 and 3 down the back straight on Ocean Way here in Sentosa Cove. Once again.
Johnny Brownlee looks a lot calmer than he has in other races. He seemed to have a lot of urgency when he raced in the past and made a few mistakes. He knows these 2 in front are dictating terms and have all the entire league. He drew a lot of confidence from yesterday's big sprint finish. I'd like you to do very little and come to a shootout between these 3. 3 on 3. There seems to be no urgency. They know this is a Super 6. These 3 are away against 3. There's no urgency here. Henry Schumann sat on the front for the last lap of the bike. Vincent Louis been content. Johnny Brownlee, I don't think will move up at all until it matters, until it's needed to. Getting in a lot of fluid. The temperature's definitely dropped. It's later in the evening. And it's the business end now.
Tyler Mislachuk still perhaps in the box seat to finish on the podium. 7th and 2nd, that might be enough with Vincent Lewis, despite taking a, this is the round podium I'm talking about, despite taking the decent points, at least top 3 points for Vincent Lewis. He only took 1 yesterday, so that almost puts him out of contention. And Johnny Brownlee has already taken 25 from yesterday and Schumann 16, so you'd think that those 2 will be somewhere on the round podium. $20,000 on offer for the round, 15,000 and 10,000. But the big checks come out after that. Here is the chasing group. Bergier now leading. He's done better than he thought he would, considering his injuries. He's into the 8th, of 9 disciplines.
He's got a run to get through. He's in the Super 6. It's been a great weekend of racing for Leo Bergier, no matter where he finishes today. But these have been the power 3 of the entire series, with the only missing one being Richard Murray.
Yeah.
And Henry Schumann is just so evenly perfect at the 3 disciplines of triathlon. He's always there. He's got such a powerful swim. He's so fast through transition. His bike's remarkable. His skills are impeccable. His run's marvelous. He's just he's so good. He's so good to watch race. Look how calm he is. He sits so well on a bike. He's a silent assassin. There's so much more power you see in Vincent Louis, who's sitting on his wheel. And Johnny Brownlee, geez, he's Palomar say it all.
In this group, if you're new to watching triathlon, you've got the world number 2 in the pink, Vincent Lewis. You've got the Commonwealth Games gold medalist and Rio bronze medalist in Henry Schumann of South Africa. And you've got the Rio silver medalist and London bronze medalist in Jonathan Brownlee.
Who's also got a couple of Commonwealth Games golds.
And also he was the 2012 world champion and 2-time world sprint tri champion. So there's not many better resumes in sport than these 3 men when it comes to triathlon.
That has been the cream of this sport for the last few years. The only one missing is actually Johnny's brother Alistair. But that is triathlon of the now, right there on screen. That is the talent, and they're the 3 there that you're going to look for at the Tokyo Olympic Games to pick out a gold medal.
Super League, a big part of the trip to Tokyo, given the distances on offer in 2020, but refining their craft and their art here on the streets of Singapore are these 3, and there is a big crowd now as the temperature drops enough to come out in the open, watching the very best do battle. What could be better than that on a Sunday afternoon here in Singapore as they head through transition once again. And the gap just widening as these 3 work together, and Henry Schumann, if it finishes like this, will be your championship winner.
some problems with his suit there. Unzip, no. But Johnny sat third. Well, they've sat like this for the entire bike ride. Vincent Louis, I think, has probably done 400 metres of the bike riding early on. But Johnny has not moved off Vincent's wheel, saving the legs. Henry Schuman's just slid through the entire course. There seems to be no power put down, but there's... It's about surviving without crashing and coming down to this final run.
Well, they seem to be content to stay in this order, and of course Vincent wants Henry to do all the work, because Vincent knows that he's got the best kick in triathlon. If it comes down to a running race, it's happened a couple of times to Schumann across the course of the rounds, that it comes down to a running race between the two of them. In Jersey, Henry tried to go a little bit early to test the waters, if you like, with about half a lap left, and Vince did the job. He did it again up the hill in Malta in that famous foot race between the two of them. This one is shaping up once again. And of course, Johnny Brownlee is back in all sorts of form.
Yeah.
And held off Tyler Mislachuk with a great sprint finish. So if it comes down to that, it is going to be one of the great finishes. We've already seen one absolutely unbelievable finish in the women's, with Cassandra Beaugrand winning in a photo finish and earning a podium spot for the championship, and $25,000 by about 100th of a second over Katie Zafiris, who won the championship. You cannot get better than that. The bell lap for the bike in the 8th of 9 disciplines, and it is Schumann, Lewis and Brownlee, the best we've got on the roster in Super League. And there's the gap between the others. You can see at the top of your screen are fighting it out for 4th through 6th. The three of them there doing battle. Of course, 4th, 5th and 6th, all important in terms of their positioning. They could dictate how Vincent Louis finishes in terms of the round, and therefore the championship as well. So the minor placings, we've got our calculators out ready to make sure we get it right as soon as possible. But if at the moment the only certainty is, if Henry Schumann wins this race, he will be our champion. If Johnny Brownlee finishes 3rd, I think he's got the round locked up.
Yeah.
To be fair,
if it stays together like this, he has the round locked up.
He could just cruise around and finish 3rd. Obviously, it's not a cruise. There's 3 guys behind him who are excellent, and he's having a look back there right now.
He's been looking back the entire last 2 laps of this bike ride. That says he feels very good. He's checking where the others are behind him. He doesn't feel that the pace is on up front, so you tend to look back to make sure that gap doesn't close. If you're a gambling person, 3's better to race than 6. And
I think 3's better to race than 6 if you're not a gambling person also.
You're right.
For both gamblers and non-gamblers.
For non-gamblers, again, just common sense.
Out there, yeah.
I guess it's just common sense. 3's better. It's not
okay. But you might love gambling too. We don't know. We move on. Vincent Louis comes off the bike. Schumann in 2nd and Brownlee 3rd. And they've got 1,800 metres between now and the end of the Super League Triathlon season. What a journey it's been to Jersey, Malta, Mallorca, and now I'm already getting ready to stand up out of my seat. I can feel this is going to be an absolute cracker of a finish. Brownlee comes out 3rd from transition. He had a great run yesterday. He's feeling confident, but he's a couple of seconds back on Vincent Louis, who knows that potentially the fate of the championship is out of his hands, but the fate of this race certainly is not. And he said he was going to run angry. We'll see how much anger he's got left after 8 transitions now and 8 legs. And there are the splits, 16 seconds across our 6 that are left. Schumann knows that he can sit in. Schomburg, Bergier and Canute.
Bergier's feet are destroyed, and he's right there for Vincent Louis.
Very courageous, and Louis knows that he's got the only fate he's got in his hands at this point is the fate of this race.
Johnny Brownlee's going after him.
Why not?
They've got nothing to lose. They've had head-to-heads for the majority of their career, and in more recent times, Vincent Louis has got one better over Johnny Brownlee, so it'll be a fantastic way to end a round for Johnny Brownlee to get a win up on Vincent Louis, knowing that Vincent Louis didn't even race yesterday. So
I think Schumann's still got the championship in the bag if he finishes 3rd. We don't know that for sure.
It's not
We
a
don't know
definite.
that for sure, but what we do know is Johnny Brownlee at this point has the round in the bag if he can indeed stay in this top 3. And I'd love to see him track down Vincent Lewis and make it a foot race towards the end, but he looks so strong, the Frenchman. Of course, he didn't have much of a race yesterday compared to the other two, so he's feeling a little bit fresher, and that freshness is showing now as he runs away with it. He'll be very disappointed by what happened yesterday, completely out of his hands, the puncture. And the only way to really come back from that is to leave your best racing out there on the course at the next opportunity, and that's what he's doing, the Frenchman.
That's the old running style of Johnny Brownlee we're used to seeing when he was running the Olympic silver and bronze medals with his brother. He stands up a lot taller than I've seen him in the early parts of this series. He just seemed flat-footed. He's got that bounce back. He's running a lot taller. He seems a lot more confident. And despite Vincent moving away with fresh legs, I think Johnny's got this in control.
You think so?
He's got control over Henry Schumann. I don't think he's got Vincent Louis, but I don't think Henry's going to move up in any way. Jonathan Brownlee.
Can Johnny Brownlee bridge this gap? The stride of Vincent Lewis was just eating up the pavement here in Singapore. There's one lap to go to crown our race round and championship winners. The crowd 5 deep along the finishing stretch as Johnny Brownlee comes around the corner and sees that gap. Lewis will turn through transition and get a chance to see where his opponents are.
Schumann right there.
Schumann, I think, race is potentially finished. He may have crunched the numbers and knows he's okay. We don't know.
He's still closer than I thought, Henry. He looked to be looking over his shoulder, checking where 4th position was. I'd love to know who that is. Is that Leo Bergier back there, or is it Ben Canute?
Just Vince Louis leaving a couple of bottled waters on the ground, like a couple of shells in Mario Kart, just for the others to run over. 56 minutes, so it's going to take an hour just about for them to get around, which is about the same as what it took the women to do the same thing. Both very quick races. Brownlee and Schumann now 5 and 8 seconds back, and you can just see how much Lewis has put the hammer down. It was 16 seconds off the bike. 1 lap later, the gap back to Schomburg has doubled to 32 seconds.
Bergier in 4th with Canute 5th. And it's Schomburg who's off 4 seconds back off Ben Canute, which would be a magnificent race for Ben. An even better race for Leo Bergier.
Can Henry Schumann track down Jonathan Brownlee? Now that gap is a little smaller than the one out to Vince Lewis. Not sure that's possible. Bergier continues. It's the 3rd time he's gone out to run. He didn't even want to do it once. He pulled out yesterday when they got to the top 10, the 3rd stage of the Eliminator, and that look on Ben Canute's face, it looks like he's struggling, but that's the look he has on his face every time he runs.
He's just a warrior.
He's in the red zone all the time.
He constantly is. He's always chasing, he's always pushing, he's always aggressive, and he's always there. He's as tough as nails. This is a controlled performance by Vincent Lewis. It's in the bag. He knows it.
Vincent Lewis needing to finish as high up in the round as he possibly can, take the maximum in the race, take the maximum points haul to give him the best round position. And until we know that, until we know 4th, 5th and 6th placements, we won't know exactly where they stand in the championship. Jonathan Brownlee will be your round winner, no matter where he finishes in this top 3. So a great return to form from the Englishman, one of the most popular triathletes on the circuit. Plenty of social media on how much they enjoyed his race yesterday, and to back it up with maybe a 2nd position is a great weekend out for Vincent Lewis. He was angry about what happened yesterday, and he's taking his anger out on the back end of this run course to remind everyone just how quick he is.
That's what he's done all season. When it comes to the business end, he has shut everybody out. Johnny Brownlee, see how to check for Henry Schumann. He'll finish 2nd with a round win for Johnny Brownlee.
It will be Vincent Lewis who gives himself a maximum 25 points. He has to await other results to see where it finishes him in the championship and in the round. But he can do no more than to win this race, and he's done exactly that. Vincent Lewis, a bit of redemption for him after some bad luck yesterday. Congratulations to the Frenchman. He's been so good across the course of this series, and Johnny Brownlee backs up his win yesterday with a very, very good second, and he will win the round. And Henry Schoeman comes in a little bit of pain too. He's really pushed himself hard to finish in third position. He had some niggles he's worked through as well. It's very hot out there still. And it's possible that Vincent Lewis may have still won overall. It's still up in the air. We're waiting on confirmation of final results. He doesn't know. And it depends on the finishing positions of our athletes. Coming through the finishing line is Ben Canute. Every single one of these athletes has given everything and left it all out there. Jonas Schomburg with
Great performance.
his best performance of the series, no doubt.
He'll be waiting for those points right now, Vincent Lewis.
He was absolutely shattered yesterday.
Yeah.
We saw it at the top of the show. A puncture from a tiny little staple. On the second of 5 bike laps, he rode 3 laps on the bike with a flat tyre and ended up 17th. But what more can you do than to come out and win by 30 metres over Jonathan Brownlee, who won yesterday, just to remind everyone exactly what kind of pedigree you have, and that's what he did.
It's a great performance from Vincent Lewis. We had him on before the show. He looked flat, he looked down, he knew there was a lot on the line. He'd be waiting nervously now on the round results to work out if he's won the championship. He's been the most dominant athlete of the entire league.
I think he's down there with Annie Emerson right now. If they're ready, I suppose we'll throw down to them as he gets a hug from Matt Hauser, who was very, very unlucky, but we'll go to Annie right now.
Didn't make that look easy. You had to run incredibly hard. I knew you sensed the danger from Johnny Brownlee, but what a race you made up for that disappointment yesterday. How do you feel?
Yeah, obviously I feel better than yesterday. That's great feeling to win. I think I played really well tactically. I just tried to slow down Henry as much as I can. But he knew I would do that, so he was a really tough opponent. Johnny was really, really hard to beat. I tried to start really fast at the last run to try to make them a bit like on the red zone. I think it's pretty tough when you already did 3 races. So yeah, my target was to just make them suffer from the start to the finish.
Okay, they've got to do the numbers still, unconfirmed where you're going to finish in the overall series, but we think it's going to be close for you to finish at the top.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, first or second. I had a great race. The form is there. I'm pretty happy. Henry is a great guy, so if he wins the series, I'm happy for him. If Johnny wins the series, I'm happy for him. So yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 doesn't matter. Just provide a great show to the crowd. That's all we want, I think.
Certainly, Henry and Johnny pushed you right to the end and perhaps made this the toughest enduro race that you've taken on so far.
Oh yeah, sure. That's way tougher than the one in Jersey. I feel pretty tired. I think maybe the heat. I don't know. I have to work a bit more on this. But yeah, they're great athletes, and they both have Olympic medals around their neck. So you cannot hope for an easy race. But yeah, I'm really glad to win. We got the first WTS in 2 weeks, so it's a confidence boost, I think.
I've got something to tell you. You are the champion, Vincent.
Yes. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know what to say. Yesterday I was just like, okay, stay focused, just racing. That's what you do the best, and race from the start to finish. And yeah, winning the series is like awesome. Yeah, I want to thank everyone. My coach Joel Field, Drew Box, my physio Pepe, my parents, my girlfriend Telo, and my manager Julian. They're all incredibly a big support for me. And yeah, thanks everyone. I don't know what to say, so sorry.
Could you honestly have believed this morning when you woke up today that this was going to be the end result, that you are the Super League champion?
No, honestly, I woke up this morning and my coach and my assistant coach asked me if I want them to do the maths for the title, and I said no, I just want to race. I want to win the race, and that's the only thing I can do, and let's see what happens after. But yeah, I was here for winning the race and the championship, so I did both. No, honestly, when I woke up this morning, I really did not expect that. That's crazy.
I really don't want to reflect on what happened yesterday, but I wonder, the fresh legs, we know what a finish you've got on the run, that's for certain, but did the fresh legs help you today against Henry and Jonathan?
Yeah, I honestly did not feel really good the whole race, maybe because of the heat, maybe because I think we really start fast even for the first leg. But yeah, obviously, I mean, those guys raced 3 times yesterday, I only raced once. So it's a bad thing maybe for a good thing today, because no one knows. Maybe I would blow up today if I had to do the whole race yesterday. So just keep the entertainment. So I think that's a good thing.
And it's so tactical. There's absolutely no room for error. How do you keep it together?
Yeah, that's really tactical. Matt Hauser crashed just in front of me, so it can change everything in a second. We saw that yesterday with the flat tire. There is no room for error, as you said. But I try to stay really focused. Just say, okay, Henry is there, Johnny is there. Don't push too hard. Let them work, and you just have to beat them both. And if Johnny can beat Henry, that's amazing, and he did, and I'm quite happy. So thank you, Johnny.
Final word on how you feel.
I feel pretty great. I feel like just really thankful for everyone who worked for me, because people just see what happened today, but it's months and months of work. It's months and months of work for all my support, all my crew. I mean, I spent 6 weeks with my whole group, with guys like Mario Mola, Tommy Zaferes who raced here, Martin Van Riel, he was supposed to be there and he wasn't. So yeah, just thank you for everyone who worked for me.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we are just awaiting official confirmation for the overall series results.
I think that we can just about announce that indeed Vincent Lewis is our champion. There's his better half smiling there, Taylor Spivey. And the reason that happened, and he's won by therefore 2 points, is because Leo Berger
beat Ben
managed to finish in front of Ben Canute. Had Ben Canute finished 1 place higher in front of Leo Berger in the finest possible margin you can imagine, then the $100,000 in Super League Championship title would have gone to that other man in that shot right there, Henry Schumann.
So had Leo Berger not started today's race with those bad feet, his French teammate, Henry Schumann,
his French teammate, Vincent Lewis, would not have won.
Would not have won. Wow, someone's buying drinks tonight.
He was only meant to make it to the 6th discipline. He didn't want to run twice, and there is Spivey and Lewis, who will share $100,000.
Doesn't get any closer than that. What a league, what a series.
So after watching Zafiris and Beaugrand and a photo finish, we have a minor placing deciding our champion. It cannot be closer than that. We are awaiting the absolute official confirmation, but that is the word we're getting at this point. Let's have a look back at how it all shook out in that race, and this seems like 3 hours ago. Matt Hauser got a great start. He let out from Igor Polyansky in the swim. He'd eventually come to grief, and we'll see that in just a second, but a great swim from Hauser after finishing 11th yesterday. Tommy Zafiris was there or thereabouts, and he led early parts of the bike, but the big names put their way up towards the front there. Richard Murray had to find his way through. An accident there for Jaden Schofield. He's had a few accidents, Jaden Schofield, and that saw him eliminated. But when they began the first run, Johnny Brownlee had a little trip there. It didn't hurt him too much in the end. A good run, a big group in the swim, and we started to lose some reasonably big names as well as we pushed on through this one. Onto the bike again. I can give you now official confirmation that as Matt Hauser goes down there, perhaps he clipped Matt Sharp's wheel. Official confirmation that Vincent Lewis is our Super League champion. He won by 2 points in the end from Henry Schumann, and that happened because firstly he won this race after a puncture yesterday, and secondly because Schumann finished 3rd behind Brownlee and Ben Canute finished behind Leo Berger. Berger's 4th placing, handing Vincent Lewis Super League champion title. And had it been the other way around and Canute had beaten Berger, it would have gone the other way to Henry Schumann. But Vincent Lewis, he said it in the interview, the only thing he could do was to win this race and hope, and he did both of those things, and he comes away with a title that he, Chris McCormack, thoroughly deserves.
Oh, without question. He was the form athlete of the series, both him and Henry, but he won every single round. That disappointment yesterday was heartbreaking for him, and I'm very, very happy for him.
There is our champion, the man who just missed out by the finest of margins, Henry Schoeman. He's down now to talk to Annie.
Henry, I've got to say, firstly, congratulations on a great race today. Not the result you wanted, and to lose the championships by 2 points. I don't know what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I think after what happened yesterday, it was mine to lose. But Vincent, he's a strong athlete, and yeah, it's racing. That's how it goes. I gave my best on the day. Louis had a fresh body today. Maybe that worked in his favor, but yeah, it was brutal out there. They made me work on the last lap of the last triathlon, and yeah, I think that really killed me on the run, and I just couldn't pass Brownlee. But yeah, you know, I came into this weekend second. I wasn't feeling great on the weekend, to be honest, and to walk away on second, I think I'm still very happy with that.
We did notice after the race yesterday you were clutching your ribs. Was that a cramp, or is there something going on there?
I didn't want to say it, but I was really sick coming into the week, and I was sneezing a lot, I was coughing a lot, and I think my stomach muscles are cramping quite a bit, and I'm struggling with the breathing, especially in the heat. But you know, no excuses. We come here to race, and that's what I came here to do, and I gave it my best, and yeah, that's what I came out with.
You can say that you're the runner-up of the Super League Series 2018-2019. That has to feel good, even with the disappointment.
Yeah, no, I mean, I came in here hoping for a solid second. It would have to take a very good race to win it, and so yeah, I mean, I'm still happy with that. I want to thank everyone out there for supporting me through the series. Everyone back home who's sending loads of messages, really thank you for that. Thank you to my family, my fiance here. Yeah, I'm just really happy to wrap up the season and look forward to the rest of the year.
Henry, we'll look forward to seeing you in the next season as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And here was the finish that chose it all. Berger ended up finishing in 4th position, and that is what handed Vincent Lewis the title. It's quite a way back to Ben Canute. It wasn't any sort of a sprint finish, but had Canute found the legs to finish in front of Berger, Schoeman would have been the winner, but that was what changed it.
It was Berger's best performance of the series. He finished 4th overall in the round. His best performance won his teammate the overall.
I don't know what the French drink, but Leo owes one of them to Vincent Lewis. Probably an espresso.
Yeah, wine and champagne.
Yep, a Frenchman won the title for a Frenchman. Lewis 107, Schoeman 105, Jonathan Brownlee. Well, his points haven't been updated there. He had taken some points as well, and that lifted him up into 3rd position from Mislichuk, who just missed out. Murray 55 in the end, and there's really important prize money changes between those. So Tyler Mislichuk really launched himself, and Richard Murray's ankle really hurt too. And Leo Berger, Matt Sharp sneaks into a contract.
He does.
Which is huge for him. A great finish in the end for Matt Sharp, and he earned himself a contract for season 2019-2020 as the 10th. So all those names you will see again in season 2019-2020, which starts in Jersey in September. So great work, Matt Sharp. He wasn't in the top 10. He snuck into the top 10. He should be very, very happy, and so will Kirsten Casper, who'll join him with a contract as well. She's at home, his partner, so she'll be happy too that the two of them can both join us again next year. Right now we'll head back down to Annie, who's with Johnny Brownlee, who finishes 3rd overall.
Johnny, well, a hugely successful weekend for you. Perhaps not quite the end you wanted, but we know what Vincent's finish is like. But how do you feel today after the races you've had this weekend?
Oh, I knew Vince was going to be really hard to beat today. Obviously, first season, incredible athlete, and he deserves to be champion. Henry and himself were a lot better than all of us throughout the whole series. But he came into the race with fresh legs. And I think I was probably the fittest athlete out there. I made a few mistakes, had a shocking swim start, and we got beaten up. And then I was catch up on the first one. And to be honest, I was thinking about getting through each round then. And then at the end, I was just running controlled, and I was surprised that I beat Henry because I was tired going to that last round, and I was aiming just to win the overall round. But yeah, and like I said, I think I was the fittest athlete out there on the weekend, but not the most clinical.
I think a lot of your fans out there are going to be really happy to see how you performed in the heat. I think that's really important looking ahead to Tokyo in 2020.
Yeah, it is. If I'm honest, the main reason for me being here today was to force me to go on a heat training camp in Phuket in Thailand, and that's what I did with my training partner. And we went there, and I can race in the heat. This is probably the worst thing you can do in the heat, is that kind of race format. You spike your temperature early doors. I had a bad first race, so I really spiked my temperature, and then I had to control it. And I've learned a lot about what you need to do, how you control yourself, how you train in the heat, and that's going to be very important in the next couple of years. And important for me mentally as well, because what happened a few years ago stays in the back of your mind, and now I can forget about that and move on.
Just the last one, your overall thoughts on the Super League series?
It's incredible to race. It's amazing for the sport. It's amazing to race in venues like this, and it's the future of the sport. I'm just proud to be part of it, and I've been very lucky in my triathlon career to be part of the growth of triathlon. London 2012 was amazing, and hopefully I've played a bit of a role in Super League as well, and hopefully it'll continue. And thank you to the organisers for having us.
Great stuff. Congratulations, Johnny.
Thank you.
What a finish it was. Here is the championship points. Vincent Lewis finishes with 107, Henry Schoeman 105. Just a 2-point difference. It couldn't have come any closer. It ended up decided by the minor placings. Tyler Mislachuk with a very well-deserved fourth behind Jonathan Brownlee, who finished with 96 points. So 9 back in the end from Schoeman. Richard Murray in fifth, and Leo Berger, who finished with 52 points in sixth. But how good was that? What a great finish. What a great weekend this has been.
Today's been marvellous. It's been an amazing weekend. It's been an amazing series, but the big takeaway for me is just the class of Vincent Louis and the absolute sportsmanship of Henry Schoeman. He came in. He had a lot of work to do to override Vincent Louis. He had an opportunity yesterday when Vincent got that flat tyre. We heard him say he was a little bit disappointed. The crowd here, he's a popular champion, Vincent Lewis.
He absolutely is, and he deserves this one. You talk about triumph to tragedy. Tragedy to triumph is what happened across the course of this weekend, wasn't it? It was absolutely unbelievable. We're going to head to our podium right now. 3 very worthy champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise. We now have the prize presentation for our men. Presenting the medals, let's give a big round of applause, please, to Mr. Jack Logan from 1°15 Marina. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in third place for this evening, from South Africa, Henry Schoeman. And in second place, from the United Kingdom, Jonathan Brownlee. And our race winner for the Super League Enduro race from France, Vincent Louis. And now to present the champagne, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Justin Park, President of the Asian Triathlon Confederation. Let's get those shouts and cheers, ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you your Super League Triathlon medalists here for the Enduro.
So our podium decided for the Enduro. Our top 3, we're going to see them on the podium just again for the round and again for the championship. Tyler Mislachuk's going to join them as well because he's done incredibly well himself. But how good are these 3 guys? An absolutely wonderful end to our series, a wonderful winner in both the women's and the men's. They're both led in the pink all the way through, Katie Zafiris and Vincent Lewis. But how good?
When you cast your eyes back to Jersey almost 4 months ago, when you think of the outcome of that race with Vincent Lewis and Henry Schoeman off the front in that race, Jonathan Brownlee struggling with form, to see where we got to in Singapore has been remarkable. What a journey, what a series, what a league.
All right, it's time for the round podium. We head back to our podium presenter.
Okay. And now, ladies and gents, for our Singapore winners here in the Super League Triathlon 2018-2019 season. We'd like to invite Mr. Justin Park, President of the Asian Triathlon Confederation, to present the championship trophies, and Mr. Arthur Tay, Chairman from 1°15 Marina, to present the check and champagne. And now, ladies and gents, in third place for this evening, from Canada, Tyler Mistletoe. And second on the second spot on the podium from South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Henry Scruman. And Singapore, let's see how loud you can get for our overall winner of this race weekend here in Singapore from the United Kingdom, Jonathan Brown. These are Singapore champions, ladies and gents. Make some noise!
So Jonathan Brownlee wins overall here in Singapore. A great finish from Tyler Mistletoe. He picks up $10,000 for his trouble. He had a second place yesterday and seventh today. And second place for Henry Scruman, who picks up $15,000 to go with the $50,000 he is about to pick up for finishing second overall in the closest margin I can remember in any triathlon series. What a weekend it has been. Jonathan Brownlee back on the top step of the podium, winning a round. And what a boost for him, putting 2018 behind him and launching himself into 2019.
Oh, he must be ecstatic. We saw the emotion yesterday on his face, winning that stage, winning that race, and then coming to win the entire round. It's back where he wanted to be. He's made a real statement going into Tokyo. It's been very, very hot, humid conditions. He struggled with those in the past. He's taken out the best in the world. Bring on Tokyo. It's going to be an amazing event in itself.
Tyler Mistletoe's really grown across the course of this series as well.
Oh, he's been a standout. He's been working with Jonathan Hall, the Canadian coach, and Matt Sharp. They've been focused on this series. They've really refined their skills, and he's had his best result here this weekend, and that's moved him right up the championship round.
Hey, everybody, wait, stay back.
So much
Johnny
excitement
Brownlee
here.
and Henry Scruman being mobbed by the school kids here in Singapore who are enjoying every minute of this. It's quite a spectacle down here on the side of Sentosa Cove in front of 1 degree 15 Marina. Some very, very happy triathletes milling around, and we're about to do our championship podium. And after tragedy yesterday, who would have believed that Vincent Lewis would stand on the top step today?
I was just looking at the points. I just spoke to getting a look at the points, and it was Ben Canute and Vincent Louis finished on equal points today in today's round. And that, because of the day's round, Ben Canute moved, Vincent Louis moved across Ben Canute and won it.
Season has come to an end here in Singapore, and now it's time for the prize presentation to give you our champions of the Super League Triathlon season 2018-2019. Presenting our prizes today, Michael Dalsgaard, co-founder and CEO of the Super League Triathlon, as well as Leonid Boguslavsky, our co-founder and chairman of the Super League Triathlon, with the prize money in champagne.
What? Say again.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go in third place from the United Kingdom, Jonathan Brown. In second place, from South Africa, a big round of applause please for Henry Scruman. And finishing today as strong as he started, ladies and gentlemen, our Super League champion for the 2018-29 season, from France, Vincent Louis! And presenting our champion with his trophy, ladies and gentlemen, a big shout, cheer, round of applause for our champion of the Super League Triathlon. One more time, Vincent Louis! It's now time to celebrate. Let's pop that champagne and get this party started here, ladies and gentlemen, in Singapore, the wonderful venue of 1 degree 15 Marina in Sentosa Cove. The champagne goes and the celebrations begin for Vincent Louis.
What a season it has been, and what some worthy winners behind us as well. It's been absolutely fantastic here. What a finish as well. A huge crowd coming in to see our final and to see our champions crowned. And what more worthy winner than Vincent Louis. It's been absolutely unbelievable across the course of the whole season.
Well, he's been the class athlete of the entire season. You can't falter him. Yesterday was a huge disappointment. To come back today, to win the way he did, and to take out the championship, marvellous.
The championship ends, but Super League does not. We have qualifiers in Bali, we have a qualifier in Polston in Poland, we have a qualifier in Canada as well. There's details on all of that on the website superleaguetriathlon.com. It's the place to go if you think that you can mix it with these guys when we start everything in Jersey again, and we're going to see another step up in class when we hit Jersey in September.
Oh, without question. We've seen that with Bali, with all the qualifiers coming. Jersey will be just around the corner. Vincent Louis has got a lot to do. I know Henry Schumann's already talking to Franzel, his fiancée. He's already looking at what he has to do to win that title. It's going to be marvellous.
When you started this whole thing, would you imagine we'd be standing here in front of around thousands of people, kids everywhere, Super League, an aspirational series that was created from nothing and taking triathlon to a new level?
When we started this series, this is exactly what we're thinking about, kids bringing youth back into this sport and inspiring a next generation of athletes to do it. We saw the youth and junior racing today. We saw that in Jersey. We're seeing that all around the world now as part of the Super League series. It's unreal what we've done. I think it's become insidious. It's just keep feeding itself. And I think, without question, this race this weekend was my favourite of all the racing. There was so much happening. Incredible.
We will keep bringing you content on all our athletes across the course of our off-season as they go and race in other series, in the WTS series, long course racing, different World Cup racing. We'll bring you the ups and downs of all our World Cup athletes. We cannot wait to bring all of that to you and to see you in September. On behalf of Chris McCormack, Leonid Boguslavsky, Michael Dolson, everyone at Super League, we hope you've enjoyed it. Macca, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure working with you, Will.
We'll see you in September. It is bye for now. And we are underway, a clean start.
Yeah. Come on, y'all, it's time to rise up. Get your hands up. We're taking over the game. And if you're looking for change, I suggest you do the same. Come on, y'all, it's time to rise up. Get your hands up. We're taking over the game. We're taking over the game. Come on, y'all, it's time to rise up. Get your hands up. We're taking over the game. And if you're looking for change, I suggest you do the same. Come on, y'all, it's time to rise up. Get your hands up. We're taking over the game. And if you're looking for change, I suggest you do the same.